I don't know. I got something to say, and I don't know how it's gonna come across. And honestly, I really don't give a shit. Um, seems to be this lack of caring in our society that's leaving us vulnerable to idiocy. Does that make sense? I mean, I get what people are saying when they're like, more people die from the flu than from COVID-19 every year. 36,000 people or 60,000 people worldwide die from influenza every year. Okay, but this isn't influenza. This is something that we've always gotten since we were kids, and our bodies kind of like, oh, we got the flu this year, and people kind of see the symptoms and they go to work, and some actually like in earlier years doesn't it seem like, oh, I got the flu and it lasted for a little bit, or and people are they're just not getting it. I was working at Auntie Anne's off the thruway, which I ended up quitting like a few days ago, and it was out there in Angola, New York, and it was literally a hot spot because people constantly the rest stop, people constantly coming in and can I get this, and money's dirty and everything like that. And it shit was scaring me too much. Then I ended up getting like this well, I've had this cough for like 2-3 months because I'm a smoker anyway, so I've been slowing down trying to quit, but like I was like, okay, like 2 weeks ago I got this like I don't know, I kind of had like vomiting, diarrhea, fever, chills, and everything like that. It only lasted for 24 hours, then it went away. And I was like, oh, okay, I feel fine, work, nothing was wrong. And then on Sunday, I go to work, and my boss is coughing her brains out to the point where, like, her nose is red. She's coughing her brains out, and she just looks so sick, like she can't breathe. And I'm like, holy fucking shit, like we're literally in a hot spot because you're literally giving people money, she's trying to keep her distance from and I'm like, it's circulated air, and this was Sunday, and I'm like, okay, I'm starting to get it. Like the girl I was working with, she was literally like, well, what do you, she just flat out asked her, so what do you think you're sick with? And she was like, I don't know. And I'm thinking to myself, that is so fucked up. You could potentially just came to work and gave us both something. And here I am, Monday, it was Monday, and I started to like feel like a little feverish, a little headache, not nausea or anything, like my cough increased a little bit. And then I was like, this bitch gave me COVID-19. Like, if you're managers of people in positions, do not go to work. I get that you got to feed your families. I get that you have to do stuff, but this shit that's happening right now is completely unprecedented. And you don't want to be potentially just spreading this shit to some I still got to work. That's not good enough because you're not gonna fucking kill me. If she, could possibly, if it's possibly that, or it could just be like influenza or whatever. I'm like, what are you, no, my nose is running, and I got a fever, and I got a cough, and I got a headache. I said, that shit sound like COVID-19. She's like, no, but I also have diarrhea, and then I was vomiting, and I'm like, okay, well, now that kind of sounds like the flu. And I haven't gotten the flu this year, so I'm like, okay, maybe it's that. Shit could be both. You don't know. And it's like, and also it's that time of year. So that's why so many people are getting tested because they're not sure if it's the flu or COVID-19. And it's really, it's upsetting on a lot of different levels, but the level of, like you have these people like, people are ordering food and people are coming and they're coming in there and they're like, oh, the government's, they're blowing it way out of proportion. And I'm thinking, use your fucking head. Use your fucking head. Listen, all this talk about the president calling it the China virus, he's not trying to take any responsibility for that virus at all. And in a lot of ways, he should not. You do not want to be responsible for one of the worst pandemics in human history. You don't want to be. You don't want to be. And people are like, what is she talking about? Worst pandemic. the numbers from how bad things are in other places are giving them the idea that this is going to get bad. And because they didn't react to it in a certain amount of time, it's going to be a lot worse because people are walking around not knowing that they have it. Mild to moderate symptoms, possibly thinking that it might be the flu or something and it might go away. But people don't want it for a few different factors. First off, who the fuck wants to basically get swine flu? You know what I mean? Like who and that and this is worse than that. So it's like who the fuck wants to get a disease that they're not sure how their body's going to react to it, if they're going to die or not? Is it going to come back next year? Which I was watching some stuff on TV and they had like infectious disease guy that was talking. He was like, no, if you get it, it won't come back next year. But what they're talking about is people with mild to moderate symptoms that end up having it and it goes away. Like 2 out of 5 of them are could potentially still be virus carriers. And I'm like, do you know what that means? That means that it might not come back to them, but who knows what's going to happen to them in 20 years from now? It's like chicken pox and shingles. You don't know if you get chicken pox today, in 20 years it comes back as something else, like your lung is dying or something like that from the COVID-19 or like Agent Orange from like Vietnam. You don't know what the shit can come back as later on. Okay, even that being said, let's say nothing like that happens, right? If you're still a potential carrier of a disease like that, if you're still a carrier of a disease, that means you ever seen Batman and Robin when Poison Ivy would kiss people and poison would be on her lips and they would just die. Now imagine that in the sense of you kiss somebody, but in 30 days their lungs give out and they die. I mean, we're talking about Demolition Man, don't touch me, no kissing, contagion kind of thing that's spreading throughout the United States. Now, I don't know who Trump talked to. I don't know if the world leaders actually talked to each other or whatever, but when he had that governors meeting with the governors, now all of a sudden everybody they talked about something serious because now all of a sudden everybody's like, we're closing this down, we're closing this down, we're closing this down. New York State, Florida, everybody's trying to do it their own way. We're gonna close this down. No, no, no. Fuck the primaries. Nobody. Fuck all this shit. Nobody's worried about delegates and who's gonna be the next president. We're shutting shit down. If it's as bad as you guys say that's coming, I have to protect my people. That's what Cuomo's doing. But they're still doing it wrong to me. If I knew that a pandemic was coming of epic proportions the way it looks like it's coming, it would be no more movement. And it's hard, right? It's really hard because people need to go out, people need to buy food. No, you keep your ass in the house. The military will come around and drop boxes of food from places that government workers will work and shit like that and bring food. Suspend all mortgage payments, suspend everything, suspend all mortgage payments, suspend all car insurance payments, keep the money in your pocket, suspend all rent, nobody can get kicked out. None of that shit. There's not, oh, we're going to accumulate the rent every month and then when that shit die out in a year, I'm just going to put you out. Like, no. Suspend everything. Send the money to the people who own the homes just to keep the homes running so they don't, oh, the taxes are building, the water. Well, we're going to handle all that. Suspend the shit for the gas and the lights and everything like that. Like, everybody, you know what I mean? Because you don't want people going to shelters and droves and getting sick and like it would be like separation like that. Like I bleach and napkins. You can still go to the store and find bleach and napkins and stuff like that. Buy washcloths. Get buckets of bleach. Wipe stuff down. When you go and buy a bunch of food, you don't know who touched that shit. When you get home, take a bucket of bleach water, wipe that shit down, let it air dry on the counter before you even put it in the refrigerator or in the cabinets and shit like that. So much shit you can do.